Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, the Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
This is Reserve Bar. I'm Rick Nielsen. I like the independent companies and restaurants and guitar makers. I like somebody that's like creating something. And it's like Cheap Trick. It's like we're not unique, but we're unique. We're not the only one, but we're the only one that's us. So when I heard about Rock and Vodka, it's not like attaching to some known product. There's plenty of companies that make spirits, kinds of things, but it's like, this is our stuff. It's bottled right here near my hometown, but expanding around the world. It's like, that's what I've done.
Food and Beverage Magazine Live, bringing food and beverage to life with your hosts, James Beard Award winner Jennifer English and Food and Beverage Magazine publisher Michael Politz. Featuring leaders in the hospitality, branded food and beverage, and CPG industries, many of whom are Jennifer and Michael's friends in the business. For an informal and informative conversation where friends in the business share the latest intel, ideas, and best practices. Live, juicy inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farms, foodies, and friends of the food and beverage magazine world. Here are your hosts, Jennifer English and Michael Politz.
Well, hello, Michael.
Hello, Jennifer. How are you today, Janet Genstein?
I am so excited because it's not every day you get to talk to a living legend responsible for one of the greatest anthems of their era. It's not every day you get to talk to somebody who is such a connoisseur that they are a practitioner of the capital F fine arts in multiple disciplines, including one of my all-time favorites, the art of connoisseurship, the art of collecting, the art of discernment, and the art of entertainment. The art.
Jennifer, you talk to me every day. You talk to me every day. What are you saying? And I love that opening.
And I have to say, I love that Rick Nielsen's joining us today because he was a beloved friend of Chef Carrie Simon, who is the sort of heart and soul of a lot of things that we share, because he was one of the people that brought us together, in fact. So it's really like a triple honor today. But you're here, and as editor-in-chief of Food and Beverage Magazine, having the publisher, the founder here, the big Macha himself, it's not every day. That's how you know this is a special one.
Well, Jennifer, it's true. I mean, I don't come on for Sammy Hagar. I don't come on for Jeremiah Tower. I don't come on for Guy Fieri. But you know what? For Rick Nielsen, I will show my face. That is correct. That is correct. Because I know that Rick will appreciate it, right? And I'll tell you, when Rick's out on tour with Cheap Trick, every once in a while I'll get these crazy text messages that says, "Hey, Andrew Zimmer just came up on stage and sang with us. So you may want to ask him about that," right? These are like he is, for some reason, right? Every chef loves Rick Nielsen. Either he's so wealthy that he's been to every restaurant in the world, or you're going to have to find all this out, Jennifer. Because I've got to jump, believe it or not. I'm going to say hello, but then I'm going to jump because I've got to get to the licensing expo because all these people want to license, obviously, Food and Beverage Magazine and reach all of our readers.
And he's not alone today. He's joining us with Andy.
His partner, Andy Rio, and this is the Rock and Vodka, which I've heard so much about, and I've been dying to get my hands on this and talk about this and do all these kind of great things. Andy's got a great history. Rick has a great history. How they met is amazing. It's a neat little story. So, Tony, let's bring them on.
Oh, I love it. Well, good morning and hello, Rick, Andy. It's so awesome to have you here. Rick, it really is an honor Thank
Well,
you.
you're a collector and you're a beauty, and we're all friends of Carrie Simon. And Michael, I love you. I had dinner with him, and he doesn't spill either. He doesn't need napkins. He's just good. And thank you for keeping in touch with me.
Of course. Jennifer, knock yourself out, guys. It was great seeing you, Rick. Andy, we'll talk soon, guys.
Thank you,
See you
Michael.
down the road.
Have a great time, and good luck with everything. I'm here to support 100%. 100%.
Thank you, Michael.
Well,
Wow, what an intro. Okay, I can leave now.
you know, I want to set this up in the proper perspective, but it truly, sir, is not every day when I get to speak to someone who is such a polymath, who has such an extraordinary attention and gift in so many realms of the capital F fine arts. But of course, most people will know you and love you for creating one of the great anthems in rock and roll and being part of one of the all-time great bands. And if you are a person of a certain vintage and connoisseurship, you remember in the day. But the beauty of Cheap Trick is that it is timeless. You have transcended into the essential category of, if you only had 10 albums, one of them will be yours. We've got to welcome you in the context of that extraordinary cultural gift that you've given. Take us back to Chicago. Take us back to those early days when you literally started the band, Cheap Trick.
Wow.
And
Well, thank you,
Jennifer.
You just keep talking. I like that.
I don't mean to go on and cut you off before you can answer, but did you know this was just going to be a thing? Or was this just in you and it just had to come out?
Well, my parents were opera singers and religious singers too. My dad sang with Billy Graham, and he was on WMBI in Chicago. That's the Christian station. And so I was around music all the time, but it wasn't my music. You know, I grew up, we moved from the Chicago area to Rockford because my dad bought a music store. You know, he sang for a supper. He never, didn't run a business. And when he came there, he was like, he was new at it. But my dad graduated college at 15, so he was pretty smart. Wow. And so what I did is they had a little 45s that people come and listen to 45s in there. And I used to sneak in there and see all the girls who were there. I thought it was good. And when I was 8, I started taking drum lessons because I wanted to be a drummer. Now I can't play anymore, but I still have some drum sets. I was just always attached to music.
I want to talk a little bit about how you came up and into global consciousness with one of the iconic great bands of all times, Cheap Trick. At what point did you remember turning that corner into the mega global influence that you ultimately became? When did you go from a great Chicago band to being a phenomenon of cultural influence? And how did that feel? When was that?
Well, I always thought we were good, even playing in my parents' garage, especially when we got Robin as a singer. It was the singer I was always looking for. I have good pitch, but I have a lousy voice, you can tell that. And it was just looking for somebody that had what I was looking for, because he could sing sweet stuff, he could sing nasty stuff, and he was a real singer. He actually took a couple lessons from my father too, some breathing lessons. And so when we were playing, even if it was 5 people or 25 or whatever in a club, I always thought we're cool, better than all the other stuff. And we were doing original material, which to get jobs, we were supposed to be playing top 40. And we'd tell them we were, and then we'd never do it. That's how it went. And by the time when we got signed, we'd built up a big following in the Midwest, and a lot of other bands were asking us to tour with them. One was Queen, and one was Kiss, and one was Procol Harum, but we didn't go with them because we switched agency right before that. And it was like I always felt we were, we're good. It's like, but not thinking we're ever. I was just never arrogant about it. But when we went to Japan, they loved us. It's like, whoa, they get it. They understand what we're doing, whether they did or not. But it's like, that started it being big.
You know, at the beginning of this piece, we showed a clip of an interview with you where you said, you know, we were a band and we, you know, you basically, we weren't doing something unique, but you were very unique. And it's so much in line with what you've done with this exceptional product, because you're not the only company that makes vodka, but you make something that really is like everything else you've done in your career, so exceptionally unique. Andy is your business partner. Andy, we are so good to have you here with us. Will you talk about this vodka that you've really brought into, like, again, this global phenomenon? There's been vodka before, but not like this. How is it that you two aligned and took that sort of modus operandi of doing something and really making it your own and making it distinctive and making it like a vodka anthem?
Jennifer, thank you for having us on, and we appreciate this opportunity. Congratulations to your award. James Beard Award is huge. I'm a restaurateur, you know, born in the restaurant business, literally born in the restaurant business. My parents had restaurants since the 70s, but very admirable. So we wanted to choose something that was unique and different, right? So we always had brands coming to my restaurants to trendset, right? So we were trendsetters in the Rockford market. So they would bring all these new brands to us, and we would showcase them at 4 or 5 of our venues. And all of a sudden, they became the hot product. So I said, we have to do this for ourselves. We have the leverage. We have the walking billboards. Let's take something unique. And we knew we wanted to do a vodka, but we didn't know until we went into the actual distillery that sugarcane was actually an option, because they actually gave us a wheat and sugarcane together. My wife said, hey, can we take this wheat out of here? We want to just go with the sugarcane. They said, well, actually, we could make it a sugarcane into a vodka. So what separates us from other brands is there's very few sugarcane vodkas in the entire world. So it comes off of the still at 190 degrees, and there's absolutely zero sugar added to the product after the distillation process. It's the natural brand, non-GMO, gluten-free, and now award-winning. We just won the double gold in the New York World Spirit Competition last year, and we hope we win the next award we applied for, which is the Proof Awards, which Food and Beverage is affiliated with. We're excited about that.
Will you talk a little bit again, Rick and Andy, talk about how you take something and really make it your own by doing something that is not only unique, but is so distinctive and excellent. It's not just different for the sake of different. You've really found a way to differentiate up in an expansive way to say, imagine how good this can be. That really seems to be the sort of philosophy, Rick, that you have. How did you get to this place, and how did you bring something that you knew worked in rock and roll and music and collecting, for that matter? How did you know that it would work in the spirits world? How did you do this?
Well, Andy came to me, and I'm involved in a couple of businesses also, and it's like I want more people to have jobs, and it's like, you know, it's got to be unique. I'm not a cookie cutter guy. I don't know McDonald's stock or, you know, that kind of stuff. I started a restaurant in Chicago 21 years ago. It was the #1 individually owned pizza and beer places in the country at one point, out of 37,000.
Wow.
And you know, I put out a book that I didn't know how to publish a book, but I put it out and I sold all the copies. You know, then I did another one for John Entwistle from The Who, because he liked what I did. And it's like, I had no idea. And then I'm talking about Queen from before. Roger Taylor, drummer, took me to a place called Nikita's in London. And all they had was vodka. And that's all I remember. Okay, that's the end of the story. But having rock and vodka, it's like rock and vodka, lick and vodka. You know, it just sort of tied in nicely. You know, it didn't have some name that you can't remember. That was Andy, and then he approached me. I said, "Well, I'm interested." You know, like I said, I do other stuff too, but it's like that sounded smart. It's local, and all my family's here in the local too, so we're all hooked into it.
Well, I want you to share with us the characteristics, Andy, as a restaurant guy, as a generational restaurant guy. I'll first say thank you, because our industry is built on the sacrifices of families who are in the business of hospitality and service. And so thank you for literally the foundation of our industry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, prior to the pandemic, we had 275 employees, which we had to lay off. Like suddenly, we didn't even know. We actually launched Rock and Vodka in December of 2019, and we announced Rick's involvement on Super Bowl in February of 2020.
Just before the shutdown.
Of course, Rick's career went on, hold to its screeching halts. They weren't touring, and here I am with 5 restaurants shut down. So the silver lining for us was Rick and I actually had time to spend together to develop strategies and content and what our next steps will be. So it was a blessing in disguise for us. Obviously, it was damaging to my restaurant and all my employees. But you have to find the silver lining in everything. And for me, it was spending quality time with Rick to build our brand and tell the story. And of course, Rick has not only a national but a worldwide reach. And our fans are organic fans on our social medias from all over the world, and they're interacting with us, and they're investing in us. We just went live last Monday at a mini IPO where you can actually invest in Rock and Vodka and be a part of our team. And we're getting investors from all over the world that want to be a part of our amazing product.
Can you tell everybody a little bit more about that with Start Engine?
So Start Engine is the nation's #1 crowdfunding portal. So Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank is a strategic advisor, and I really did some research before joining any one of these portals. And people always said, "Hey, I want to invest in Rock and Vodka, or I want to invest in you and Rick," and you can't just take money from people. You have to do it the right way and the legal way and all that stuff. So I felt like they already had the one-stop shop. They've already developed a program platform that worked. And having Kevin O'Leary as the strategic advisor from Shark Tank, he's one of my favorite sharks, of course. So we're actually trending on Start Engine right now. We've has the most momentum, literally almost the entire time we've been live, as the most money raised in such a short period of time. And of course, I'm getting emails from all these Start Engine people that I've worked with. They said Rock and Vodka has driven more traffic to Start Engine than any other brand or any other product that has been launched on our website. So the momentum is awesome. You can click on startengine.com. You can type in Rock and Vodka, and you can find us right there. And it's all the information you need to know about why you should join Rock and Vodka is all right there.
Hey, Rick, I want to come to you. Your connoisseurship is legendary. Tell us a little bit about what you love about Rock and Vodka and this formulation, and how you really want to introduce it to people, because a lot of people are going to learn about this product for the first time through you, through your tasting it with us.
Well, Andy is a steward of the restaurant business, and I go to restaurants every day, so I know the good ones and the bad ones. And it was just a business opportunity. I don't need another job, but it's like I said, it's like we're helping to hire employees and get people, give people jobs where I can't with Cheap Trick. Hey Jennifer, you want to join Cheap Trick? You can't do that.
Right. So
this is helping the local economy, and now it's gone all over the place. I don't know how many states we're in now, in Canada, and I get emails from all over the place, and it's like, like I said, Andy's he's. And plus, I don't have a voice. Andy's the big boss of the company.
It makes me so happy that you're here, and I don't mean to tax your voice, because I know it's so important to you and your career and to all of us. But what are some of the notes about Rock and Vodka that you really want to highlight for us? If we're going to go find this, what do you want to make sure we pay attention to when we experience it? Is it the sipping, the blending, the cocktailology that it provides? What do you want to make sure we discover about Rock and Vodka?
It's basically a new product, and like Andy said, it's like very rare in the business to make out of sugar cane, distilled, and it comes from our area here, and the bottles are cool, and it's like, it's just, there's so many spirits. Like what's the good one? We're in a niche market. And but the niche is getting bigger, and that's what happened with our band too. We started out, nobody knew who the heck we were, and who are we? Look at this. Got this. Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It just came in the mail.
So Jennifer, to elaborate on that, anybody can make a vodka, and it's a combination of all the ingredients in place. You're adding the sugar cane, but you can't just make that at any distillery and become an award-winning product. So it's the combination of the water source, the natural water source from Harvard. It's the proprietary filtration system that they use at the distillery. And you add the ingredients of Rick Nielsen to the mix, and essentially we're a branding company, right? So we're branding an amazing award-winning product. So if you add all those together, and I'd like to back up a little bit to how Rick and I got involved, because I did reach out to him, but it was like a sign from God. I mean, Rick, it's like we're from Rockford. We're from Rockford, Illinois, right? We had no idea Rick was going to be involved with the product. We didn't even know what the name of the product was going to be. We knew we wanted to do a vodka. We knew we wanted to do sugarcane. We knew what the glass was going to look like. We had no idea what the name was going to be. Driving down 251, and there's Rock River, right? So then that was my second sign for the day. I go to one of my third restaurant, Stockyard Rock Burger Bar. So I'm like, why does this word rock keep on popping up, right? And then Rick and I are also a part of the Hard Rock Casino that they actually opened the opening act casino in Rockford, Illinois. So now you got the Hard Rock involved. There's the word rock again. And I'm driving down the street, and there's the song from Michael Jackson, I Wanna Rock With You. And I'm like, oh my God. I called my partner. I said, immediately, it's got to be rock, something to do with rock. I go to call my lawyer to get the name trademarked, Rock Vodka. And my lawyer's name is Jason Rock, right? So like, oh my God, right? So then, we ended up finding out really quickly rock would be almost next to impossible to trademark. So we added the apostrophe N, and then adding Rock and Roll Hall of Fame legend Rick Nielsen. It could be Rick and Vodka, by the way, RICK apostrophe N, Rick and Vodka. That's what he likes to tease all the time. But yeah, so the signs were there. And just like why we both joined the Hard Rock Job Creations, why I had 5 restaurants in Rockford, Illinois, Job Creations, and Rick Nielsen joining Rock and Vodka, just going to add more jobs. We've already hired full-time people that were interns from the college. So it's not just about business, but it's about stimulating the local economy, national economy in any way we can.
I'm a big believer that the hospitality arts are a realm of the capital F fine arts. That to be part of the service industry is to be practitioners of the welcoming and hospitality arts. Andy, you've clearly been in this your whole life, and Rick, so have you. Let's talk about the fine art of vodka, because you've told the backstory. Now talk about the product. It's one thing to mention that it's made out of sugarcane. As somebody who has been a student of this business and welcomes innovation in all forms, you've really innovated in a way that results in especially when it's ice cold, a very food friendly spirit. And I don't want to downplay that, because it would be very easy to think of, vodka just goes in other things. But you've really created something wonderful that very naturally goes clean and delicious with many, many foods. This really is, I think, one of the most important aspects of this product that we haven't talked about yet. Can you both talk about how food friendly this product is?
You can actually use it in the kitchen. So I love cooking, and I use this vodka in everything. Make a chili, a pasta. So it's very, it's great and sweet and salty. You can put it in Bloody Marys. You can drink it right on the rocks. And the thing I love about this vodka the most is the natural beauty of it. It's like you don't have to add sugar to it. There's no molasses. It's just clean. It's smooth. It's sweet. Got that, and it's not too sweet where it's the natural sweetness. And we did a blind taste test. So Jennifer, having the ability to keep in mind, I had 275 employees and a lot of bartenders and servers, and I let them be the judge. Before I chose to choose Rockin' Vodka and being a sugarcane vodka, I let them all taste multiple products, the wheats, the corns, the potatoes, all the other grains, and it just kept on winning over and over again. So we actually, before we even went live and before we even hit the shelves and decided that that was going to be our product, we let actual humans, real humans, product. Yeah. And so that's why it's award winning. I mean, the people chose the product before it even hit the shelves. It was award winning, in my opinion.
Rick, I want you to
I want you to want me. What? I want you to want me. Sorry.
No,
Yes.
come back. I have to tell you, it's such. I look at the screen and I'm like, that's Rick Nielsen. I'm so excited.
Let me kiss you. Kiss Andy.
I'm going to send you a recipe book.
Oh, fantastic. That's really wonderful. Listen, I know we're going to run out of time, and I want to salute you for what you're doing, but the innovation here is spectacular. As somebody who just loves the essence of what you're doing, I'm beginning to imagine it's like having your first hit. This isn't your one-hit wonder. This is going to be your first hit, where you're going to take this, where you're going to go with this, and your global influence and your connoisseurship. To me, that's what makes part of this really exciting. Not only have we discovered something that we already love, but where you take us next, we are so glad to be along for this ride.
Well, I'm not trying to brand 100 things. It's like, I used a lot of special guitars, and at the Hard Rock out front is going to be a 110-foot checkerboard Explorer like I play, not the Les Paul that they have at every other Hard Rock. And it's like I'm excited about that. And actually, Andy's got. I think we sold a ton to Hard Rocks down in Florida, and already without even being there. I'm going to go down and make some appearances. Hopefully, get my voice back for them.
Rick, when you were out on tour, did you have a ritual before every show where you would, bring it in and like they do with a team and a cheer, or did you have a toast, or was there something you did before every show?
Walk on stage. We never had a ritual. We never did the high five or but a lot of bands do. But we've been together so long. It's like we're happy to see each other, but we're confident in what we do. We don't rehearse. We just go out and play all the time. We're playing in Boston this week. We just got back from Austin, Texas, where we played with ZZ Top at a private party.
Wow.
After doing a month with them, going across Canada. And now we're going out with Rod Stewart.
Boston's my hometown. I'm envious. I wish I could be there. How does it feel the same, or does it even feel better today to walk on stage and to make Cheap Trick come to life?
We have people from all ages. It's like we always kind of did, but now it's like we have kids that don't hear our stuff sometimes on the radio, and they come there because they're interested in the music. And then we have people that have seen us, for a whole career. It's hard to find people older to get things, but it's pretty cool. I get letters, and I get the bad thing about the pandemic is like we've had no meet and greets.
Right.
It's not allowed at these shows, so it's like we don't get to see everybody up close like we always have. But we still get a kick out of it. It's pretty fun.
I've seen so many stories done about you and your collector instincts and your world-class collections. It would be a sin as a fifth generation collector to have you on the show and not ask you about when you got bit by the collecting bug and how the collecting bug keeps you going today, because I don't know if it ever goes away.
It doesn't. Let's see. I started out, my parents had a music store, so there's one thing. I ate at a restaurant every single day because my parents never cooked. Well, my grandmother, she collected stamps and coins, and I liked the artwork on the coins, that were sculpted by these great artists. I still love the 50-cent piece and the dollars and the stamps. I was always key into that. But back then there was no internet, so and I didn't have any money really, so. But I collected that stuff. I still have the collection, and then I started doing baseball cards, and I wasn't into baseball after the Beatles came out, and I bought my first guitar, and like I said, I took drum lessons. I didn't take guitar lessons. I taught myself, so that's why I'm so crummy. But my first guitar, everybody that collects, you start with one, and it's blossomed. I've owned over 2,000 instruments, and now I have 500 guitars right over here. And I just bought an old case in Australia and a lawsuit era Japanese guitar that got sued by Gibson in Australia, and the Gibson company actually they asked me to be on the board, but they had a special edition of one of the guitars like I have, a 58 Flying V. They sold out, and all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. They gave me one.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
So as a collector myself, I've got to ask you the question. It's a two-parter. What's the greatest thing what's the biggest score you've ever had, or is the biggest score still waiting for you?
Probably being married to she's not here, so I can say whatever I want. But,
Good answer.
Playing besides the family, I got 4 kids and four spouses and 12 grandkids. That's pretty fun. But guitar-wise, in 1965, I bought a 1955 gold top Les Paul for $65. I still have it. And it's like, that's been around the world with me. And a couple of years ago, I got one of the rare 1963 Guild Merle Travis guitars. I've looked for one for 35 years and never found it. And I finally got one, and it was broken. I bought it right away and had it repaired by the same guys that built it in the first place.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not like some virtuoso. I'm more of a songwriter, but I've always loved the guitars and the smell. I wish they had some spray stuff to smell like the old musty cases. I like that stuff.
Cool. I love that the subtleties and the finesse of the senses that comes along with your passion for collecting. You just described that so beautifully. Have you and Andy created a house toast to share when we sip and clink glasses with Rock and Vodka?
Well, we made one with a drink that I used to get when I go to the drive-in movie theater. It was Green River. It's a green pop, and it's like, that just goes with anything. I tried to get them to be involved with Rock and Vodka.
He actually didn't say no. I mean, he's definitely interested, but we were a brand new brand at the time.
Right.
I approached the guy now. He's probably, but yeah. So that's the Rock and Rick. It's on our first page of the recipe book. It's a very good drink. My wife and Rick actually make drink recipes on our YouTube channel. So people can find all kinds of fun recipes on our link tree.
Show Jennifer that book, the artwork that we had there.
Oh, I have to mention this artwork is done from she's Shannon McDonald. She's been amazing for our brand. She does everything from our business cards to our neckers. We use this iconic. We call it an iconic image now because you got Rick Nielsen out there.
She's the #1 Beatle artist in the world. She did every mural at the Hard Days Night Hotel in Liverpool. Yeah,
the world's #1 Beatles artist.
And Andy, I couldn't help but notice the iconography of the DNA in your Rock and Vodka logo. If you are somebody my age, you had that shirt. It said something different back in the day. Now it says Rock and Vodka.
Yeah, so Rick gave us
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, he gave us permission early on to use these. Very difficult to find the font, actually. Yeah. The original font was handwriting, I believe.
Yeah, hand done. It was actually Christopher Crow, who his dad was a commercial artist in near Kenosha, Wisconsin. And he came to our show and brought it. And after that, he did Last of the Mohicans, Untouchables, a whole bunch of stuff. And so I know Christopher Crow and Cameron Crow. They're both Cheap Trick fans, so it's pretty fun.
That's cool. So is there a house toast that you make?
We're going to let you come up with one, Jennifer, because that's toast. What would you like to? Let's create a house toast and Jennifer can be the inventor of our house toast.
Well, I'd like to craft something, but sometimes it comes from the heart. And one must just say, rock on.
Rock on.
Love you, honey.
I want to salute you both and thank you for taking so much time to spend with us today and to welcome us into your world, into the world of rock and vodka. That we share the mutual friend Carrie Simon, who I know is with us today, the rock and roll staff.
I did a pilot with him. I said, you need a nasty guy behind you. He's so nice. And I was like, I'm the grumpy old fart. It doesn't work or whatever. And he liked that idea because he is too nice. And actually, he gave me one of his guitars at the end. Yeah.
Well, we miss him dearly, and I'm going to raise my glass and say to Carrie, rock on. Gentlemen, rock and vodka can be found. Let's talk about distribution. Obviously at the Hard Rock. Where else can we find this beautiful product to connect to this story that we're weaving together today, to this beautiful chord of flavor that you've strummed and struck? And how can we join this caravan as it journeys on?
Well, one of the reasons we actually went public was to be able to launch more states, because every time we launch a different state, it's a very expensive process with registration and hiring people and tastings and work with. But if you go to www.rockandvodkas.com with an S, rockandvodkas.com, we have a map, and it takes you directly to the exact stores that have purchased it. Right now, we're in 5 states and 2 countries. We're in British Columbia and the other Canadian Providence, and we're working on Ontario right now. And we're anticipating on opening up about 5 more states. But we're in Texas, Florida, Georgia, California, Washington State, Illinois, and Florida. And you can find us in a lot of the national chains like Targets, Binny's, Specs, Twins. And the momentum keeps on growing. Every day we're picking up new accounts. And we're aligning with Hard Rocks throughout the nation. So we anticipate being in more Hard Rocks. But the one in Hollywood, Florida, the one with the iconic guitar, the brand new casino, just took 3,000 bottles on. It was our largest single purchase order. So they're doing something with the bottle in June. It's a big promotion. And we hope to get as many locations as possible. But with growth comes time. And with Rick Nielsen and myself, we anticipate by the end of the year to be in at least 12 states.
Well, I make my home in British Columbia. So there's
really
sweet music. Sweet music to my ears.
That's awesome.
And go ahead.
I was looking for pictures to show you in the 300th issue of Rock magazine. Oh, there I am.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That's fantastic.
Terrible one.
And which guitar is that, Rick?
The checkerboard, like it's going to be out in front of the Hard Rock.
Yeah. That's
Jennifer,
awesome.
a good
I've done 5,000 shows with this thing. So it's beat to crap. Yeah.
Wow.
But it plays great. Yeah.
Wow.
And I've done 5,000 shows with this face too. That'd be too.
Jennifer, Gibson TV just did a collection edition. It's a beautiful story about Rick's collection, guitar collection. It's a must watch. It's on Gibson TV or with Mark Agnesian. I tell you, if you don't know about Rick's collection, you will after that.
Yeah, and he really is Rick, you are one of the great collectors of all time. And I believe that you're going to inspire a generation of collecting the same way you've inspired a generation of musicians to think freely about what it is to make great music. And this to me is such a privilege that we've had a chance to sit and chat. Congratulations on all your success, but in particular on making this product come to market. I'm on board and I can't wait to see where we go next. Congratulations and thank you both. Andy,
all right. Rock on.
Rock on.
Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, the Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.